Welcome, ladies and gentlefolk, to today's episode of Matt Plays Chess, where I go through and analyze two of my recent chess games and talk through my moves and thought process. Win or lose, I will upload a few videos every week in hopes to document my progress toward some unspecified rating far, far away. In this series, I hope to grow as a chess player and as a person, handling defeat and learning from my mistakes. I hope everyone who watches this series will learn at least a little bit about my chess playing style, the openings I play, middle games, end games, different ways to approach openings, different lines, etc., etc. And hopefully, they will carry some of those ideas and things that they have learned from me into their own games and hopefully will help them grow as a player. Now, full disclosure, I am not a good chess player. I will not claim to be a good chess player, and this is just me documenting my progress as a player in hopes to learn from my mistakes and hopefully help you take a different approach to the game. When I say I will talk about my thought process, keep in mind that this is a thought process of a 1200 rated player, not an international master, not a grandmaster, not a titled player by any means. I've been playing chess since December of 2020. So please don't think that any ideas that I have are objectively correct in any sense. These are just my ideas. Do not blame me if you use the same opening I did and get completely wrecked in a game and then... Anyway, I would hate for that to happen, but please don't blame me if that happens. You are liable for your own mistakes. As am I. So, today is August 5th, 2021, and my rating is currently 1235. The game I have on screen now is from a few days ago, where I was rated 1212. I'm currently at my peak, so I expect that to go down because that's just how life is. And without further ado, let's get started. So the first game I have here, I play the white pieces. When playing with the white pieces, I almost exclusively play e4. And whenever my opponent responds with e5, I go into the Vienna system, or a Vienna game. Here my opponent responds with knight c6, and against this move I like to go bishop c4, inviting them to go into what I call a copycat variation, where they play bishop c5, which is what my opponent does. And here I have a very nice move, queen g4, punishing my opponent for leaving his g7 pawn undefended. And my opponent responds with the move queen f6, targeting my f2 square, my f2 pawn, and this battery here looks very dangerous, and it is. But I'm not concerned with that. I kind of ignore that and go knight d5, which is a book move. I've studied this line pretty in depth, so I kind of know what's coming and what to do. He plays queen captures f2 check. I play king d1, and here he has a bit of a problem. That problem is this pawn on c7 is hanging, which would result in a fork. This pawn is hanging, which would result in him losing his rook, unless he played queen f6, but he won't do that because that blunders his queen. So, in order to eliminate this weakness here, he plays g6, which is a mistake, but it's probably the most common move that I face at this level. Another thing that I have faced is they will play knight f6, and then after I play queen captures g7, they immediately attack my queen, being like, oh hey, look, I'm x-raying his pawn to win the pawn back, which isn't what will happen because that just blunders mate in 1, and I've won a few games with this. So anyway, but he goes g6 here, which then allows me to go knight h3, attacking his queen, and his queen here only has one escape square, which is on d4. Another option my opponent had is to go d6, attacking my queen, which is the best move, but it's a move that results in him losing a piece, because after I take his queen and he takes my queen, I take his bishop and I'm up a piece. And by the way, this is still hanging, which will result in a fork. So he kind of has to castle queenside, and then I'll go rook f1, and then just start stockpiling on this pawn here, which is usually my game plan when I play this line. Okay, so he goes queen d4, which is the move I expected him to play because it's the only good square for his queen to be, and I play d3. And now his queen doesn't have any good squares, as in he can't move his queen. His queen is trapped at this point. He can't go there because of my knight. He can't go here because of my knight and my pawn. Can't take my pawn. Can't take that pawn. Can't take my knight. Can't take my queen or my bishop. His queen's stuck. And what I've had played in this position is f5, which isn't a good move because I will then play queen h4. And then you might say, oh, well, he can just take this pawn and then it'll just result in the queen trade and black is okay. That's wrong. After he takes this pawn, I have mate in 4, which goes knight takes c7, king f8, bishop h6, check. The only legal move for him at this point is to take my bishop with his knight, and then after that I have queen f6 check, followed by knight f7, followed by queen takes f7, checkmate. Which results in queen f7 checkmate. But I haven't had that line happen. I actually made a mistake when they played that, and that actually ended up not happening. But he played the best move, which is bishop e7. And the game plan here is to go knight g5, rook f1, trade this, and eventually win material by forking his queen and his rook. But anyway, I play knight takes c7, which is apparently a mistake. That's also a mistake. I take his rook, d5, and this is a common idea because he thinks that this is a fork, right? He's like, oh, I'm attacking his queen and his bishop. This is a fork. My opponent unfortunately didn't see the fact that that actually hung his bishop, and so I took his bishop with check. and then I take his pawn. Knight f6, good move. Queen captures b7. Knight a5, which hangs his bishop, unfortunately. And then he plays knight g4. The idea I think he had was to go knight f2 check and win back the rook. But he missed that. This, in fact, is checkmate because my bishop guards the h6 square. So, thank you to Super Juan 10 for the game. Very good game. And let's move on to the next one where I play with the black pieces. So when I play black, against e4 I play the Caro-Kann, and a lot of the time I go into the advanced variation where I play c5. The idea behind c5 is to, if they take, I play e6, trying to win back this pawn, and you might say, oh wait, e6 is in an inaccuracy? That's weird. You might say, oh my god, won't they just go here? And if they do, you just go a5. And then they'll go c3. And then take. And then b6. And after take, which they might do, I mean at my level, bishop captures c4 check, bishop d2, take. It's pretty equal. Black is better. So I play c5, he plays c3, I play knight c6. a3 isn't a move I've seen before, but apparently it is a move. And I take, he takes back, and then I forgot that I actually hadn't played bishop f5 yet. I thought I had, so I played e6, which the engine says is good, but it's horrible because now I can't develop this bishop. Anyway, that's an L. But we love taking L's because this is chess. So he plays f4, it's good. Knight g7, knight c6, knight f5. That's a very common thing I do when playing the Caro-Kann, is to just get my knight on the square here. And I have another attacker on the d4 pawn with maybe queen b6 coming, and after bishop e3, I do something else. I didn't think that far ahead, but he plays knight e2, and I play queen b6, and then he attacks my knight, and this just isn't a very good move because it further weakens his queen side, or his king side, you know. So, and it just allows me to do what I was going to do anyway, which is take his pawn. And after bishop e3, the best move is to go knight c2 check, or not, oh my goodness gracious, knight c2, there we go, knight c2 check, and after queen there, or king f2, which is a horrible blunder, you're supposed to play, you're supposed to take it, and then I take the bishop, and I'm better. So, but I missed that tactic. I just see a free pawn on b2 and take it, but that apparently isn't a good move because of rook a2, which I don't know what human would actually play that. I mean, maybe a lot of people. I don't know. But he captures. I capture back, or I take. Not Agamada. I say take, not capture. Rook b1, grab the pawn. Queen takes. Bishop c5 is a mistake because of queen a4 check, which I don't like because that forces a queen trade. And I don't like trading queens because I like my queen. But, I mean, because I had the initiative there. I was attacking. So a trade it's just not really what I want. So I bring my bishop back to e7, knight ec3, and I just take this opportunity to castle because nothing's attacked and nothing's threatened. I just castle. And I was really hesitant to castle here because I was like, well, I'm going into an endgame. Do I really want my king to be in this corner here? Or do I want to, like, walk him out maybe? And I just decided to castle because better safe than sorry. I'm at 1200. I don't know what I'm doing. Castling is principled. Castling is best. We love castling. So I castle. I just shut up and castle because that's just what you do when you're 1200. You just castle because you're not as good as you think you are. So, and that's the best move. So when in doubt, just castle and just move on with your life. f5. I take. Takes my knight, and I'm like, okay. Bishop h4 check. King e2. Then I take the pawn that's hanging. Rook g1. Rook e8. Which you might think blunders a fork, which he saw. But that does not blunder a fork because of rook takes e5. Check. King has to move. Bishop g5 check. King d3, which allows me to play bishop h5 check, skewering his king and his rook. So here he goes rook king d4, and I should have played rook e4 check. Which he plays king c3, and then bishop f6 check, followed by king b3, and then I go rook c8. And I'm just so much better here, it's overwhelming. So, king d4, rook e7, take. Oh, I forgot to say, that's not what happens. I just go here, there, king d4, I go back, takes my rook, I take his rook. Bishop c4 is a mistake because of bishop e3 check. I just win his rook again, and then goes there, and I just get my rook out of the way and cut him off so I can push the 1, 2, 3, soon to be 4 passed pawns and make at least one queen. He goes knight c7, and then I go bishop h2. Bishop captures h2 check, which wins his knight. Doesn't win it, but at this point, I was just trying to simplify and get this pawn up and promote and win the game. But here my opponent resigned. So, Martin Bruels, thank you for the game. I appreciate it. Thank you for being a good sport. And today is August 5th, 2021. 2 dubs today. I will post some of my losses. Don't you worry. But for now, that looks to be it, and I hope to see you when I see you.